welcome to Shmirchik Precious Corner, the Zionist Witches channel, right? So, it looks like there's been a lot of people that were wounded since America did the strike in Iran, and it's a little bit scary. And it's very tragic because the Iron Dome, it seems like it's like overwhelmed, right? And it seems also like our enemies, for some reason they can't seem to launch their missiles during the day. I think it's because of the heat. I heard that if they launch it during the day, it can overheat and backfire somehow. So they do it more towards the morning, the middle of the night, towards the evening, right? They like to send their rockets and their missiles. So we're going to go and see what happened here today, right, in Israel. And without further ado, let's get into this, right? So 86 wounded by Iranian missile attacks on Israel after U.S. strikes 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Broad devastation at impact site in Tel Aviv and nearby Nas Ziona. Failed Israeli interceptor crashes in Haifa. IDF destroys primed Iranian launchers, foiling larger attack. How did that happen, right? So, footage shows first responders on site across Israel and Tel Aviv, in Nas Ziona and Haifa, following a heavy Iranian missile barrage on June 22nd, 2025. So, wow. I've never seen so much damage since October 7. This is so scary, right? So, an Iranian ballistic missile barrage injured dozens of people in Israel on Sunday morning as nearly 30 projectiles targeted the country, causing widespread destruction to residential areas in Tel Aviv and the central town of Nes Ziona. An Israeli air defense interceptor, meanwhile, malfunctioned and impacted the northern city of Haifa, causing damage and slightly wounding 3 people. No sirens had sounded in the city during the incident. Wow. There's malfunctions. It's because the Iron Dome it's not foolproof, you know? Like, all our enemies, they like to say things like, oh, you know, Israel shouldn't defend themselves. They should just use the Iron Dome. Meanwhile, the Iron Dome is not foolproof. And what type of lifestyle is that to live in such a way where you're under constant threat and you have to run to the bomb shelters? Like, the world, they seem to have zero empathy, like, for another human being. It's like, would you like to be rained upon with bullets and ballistic missiles into your home? And would you like to take your children and have to run to a bomb shelter every minute and every day? Like, is that something that you would want to do? Right? Don't do unto others what you don't want to have done to yourselves. Right? So fuck you, you know? Like, it's so interesting. This, on Instagram, you have a lot of these, you know, Jewish people made posts. Israelis make posts about the bomb shelter, right? People in the bomb shelter, they got hit. Their building got hit, so they were scared. So some of them were screaming and panicking. And mostly Muslims are saying things like, oh, you know, like, cry Jew, it's karma, this is for Gaza, right? And I'm like thinking to myself, like, regardless of who your enemy is, right? If you hear, like, if you hear the enemy, for instance, if I hear the people of Gaza, if they're in a state where they're getting targeted by people who are on purpose targeting civilians, of course it's not happening, but even if they get targeted, right? Even if by accident, because it's casualties of war, they get targeted and they're crying, what kind of human being do you have to be to laugh at their pain? You know what I'm saying? Like who would do that? Like, if you'd actually come face to face and see someone else's fear, to laugh in the face of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, a decent human being wouldn't act like that, even if it's your enemy. A decent person would, like when the videos of the Hamas torturing the Gazans in the most vile manner came out, and we saw the footage in the news, right? And you see these Arabs suffering, and you see how they're in these twisted positions, and you see how they're being beaten and tortured and crying, and who in their right mind enjoys to see humanity suffer unless you're a psychopath? And so you have all these psychopathic Islamic jihadis coming and mocking our pain, right? This is for Gaza, right? Never mind, like, ignoring completely the fact that the people of Gaza are the ones who committed the atrocities on October 7th. So this is a war which they brought on themselves, which is karma, right? And then there's this woman there who says, I support Gaza. I'm happy to hear you crying, right? And she says, this is coming from a Polish woman. So I said to her, really? This is coming from a Polish woman? You support the people of Gaza who did October 7? Well, really? You're very happy that you're very happy to hear people screaming and crying and scared and panicking in a bomb shelter? Like, what kind of human being do you have to be? And then I said to her, well, you're kind, right? I'm not surprised that you Polish people would behave in such an anti-Semitic way and support our enemies, because firstly, the Polish people, they did pogroms on Jews. In 1941, they did a pogrom, and I'm not sure if it was the Kishinev pogrom or there was a pogrom where the Polish people hunted down their Jewish neighbors and they murdered them, and then they stole their homes and their art and their money, and they killed them and they raped them and they tortured them, and they got rid of their Jewish neighbors in Poland, and they occupied their houses, right? This is what the Polish people did. And so I said to her, this is what you guys did. You stole our homes. You owe us reparations. And not only that, I understand now why you support the people of Gaza, because what the people of Gaza did to us is it's in your blood. It's something that you want to do to us as well, right? And the reason why you would want to do such a thing is because you're hateful and you're bloodthirsty, right? And she's accusing me of being hateful. And when I came at her with this information about how her home that she's living in now might have been stolen, her grandparents might have stolen our home, which she's living in now, from Jews, right? And so as soon as you show them what they've done and point to them and show them how they're hypocrites and how the reason why they support the Gazan people is because they themselves want to be the ones to murder Jews, but somehow they're unable to do it. So they support the barbarians that did it to us, right? Because it's in their blood to murder Jews and to steal our homes and all that type of thing, which the Gazan people want to do, right? And Hezbollah and the Islamic jihadis, that's something that they want to do, right? And so it's in their doctrine, it's in their religion as well. So that kind of shut her up, even though she responded, oh, look in the mirror, you know? What looking in the mirror? Which homes did we steal? None. Zero. Any homes that we have that were Arabic, we bought, right? And any homes that we have that happen to be owned by Arabs, they themselves left because they wanted to do a genocide on Jews in 1948, right? Their great leader, Hajj al-Husseini, is the one who decided to tell the Arabs to leave their homes so that they can ethnically cleanse the land of the Jews in 1948, and that's what they thought they would do. And all the armies, the Arabs' army came surrounded and tried to butcher us and kill us all, but they failed. And now they cry Nakba because they failed at genocide, right? So, cross the river, firstly. Second of all, what about those Jews in Arab countries that were kicked out and killed and you stole their homes, right? Like, isn't that what you call hypocrisy? But okay, never mind. Anyway, so another guy on Instagram, right, who's laughing at the Jewish people in the bomb shelter crying, right? Oh, this is what you deserve, right? Oh, you guys are, and the worst is to come, he tells me, right? And I'm like, really? Really? Do you not see how we're kicking the ass of Iran? Do you not see how we completely shut down Hezbollah? Do you not see what's happening to the people of Gaza, right? Like, they're in delusion, and they're in Delululand, and the greatest thing that you can do to a jihadi is to say to them, and guess what? Guess what, bitch? Soon, we're going to tear down that mosque on top of our Holy of Holies, on top of our Kodesh HaKodashim, and we're going to rebuild the third temple. And it's going to be beautiful and big and bold. And it's going to be made of 18 karat gold of the purest form. And we're going to have golden doors like we once had it, right? And when you tell them that, and then at that time, we will bring the Messiah, and not in the Christian way because the Christians fucked it up. Christians are not welcome. I do not like Christians. There are some good Christian people, but I'm sorry, the idea of Christianity and the way they tried to proselytize and convert Jews to Christianity, it's a way of dominance, and it's a way of trying to shut down Judaism. It's a spiritual genocide, what they try to do. So, and they hijacked what the true Jewish Messiah is supposed to be, right? So, right? And so, the Messiah is a Jewish idea. It's not a Christian idea. They stole it. Like the jihadis. They stole our ideas, and they did historical fiction, and the same, they stole our prophets and they put it in their Quran. And the same with Christianity. It's just copy paste and historical fiction and insert the name of a bastard Jesus in it, right? So I say, you know, like, soon the Messiah will come, the anointed one. God will send a messenger and bring the end of the times, and our holy temple will be rebuilt, and everybody will come, including all the nations, all the Goyish nations will come to serve the one invisible God of Israel, who's not a man, and is not an image, and is not a form, right? Which it states explicitly in the Ten Commandments. So, right, that's the greatest fear that these jihadis have, is the rebuilding of our temple, right? We're going to crush that mosque on top of our Holy of Holies, which they literally tried to erase our presence, the Muslims, by sticking a mosque on our holiest place in the entire world of our religion. And now they cry and they're afraid that we're going to tear it down, which we will eventually. We just have to have enough brave rabbis to do it, and perhaps that will usher in the redemption for all the world and for the Jews. Anyway, back to the story. So what's happening here in Israel, you have the sirens didn't go off, so things are being overwhelmed. So that was a tangent I went on, and now I digress, they say it, right? The health ministry reported that among those who arrived at hospitals were 2 in moderate condition, 77 in good condition, 4 victims suffering from acute anxiety, and 3 more people who were undergoing medical evaluation and whose condition had not been immediately determined. Right, so the scary part is like, if you live in this country for a certain amount of time, and you're living through all the wars and the rockets and everything, then, like, I like, when I first came to Israel, I was a little bit, like, I didn't like the mentality so much. The people were rude. But then, like, the longer I live here, the longer I understand, I get a deeper understanding on why the Israelis behave the way they do. It's because their nerves are frazzled, you know? And to live in a constant state of anxiety and stress and panic, right? Like, because our enemies are trying to kill us. It's like, it's very sad, you know? Like, and I'm feeling it myself living here, and I'm feeling it myself. Like, this morning, I was, like, feeling in a panic a little bit. And I was like, okay, let me go to the mall. Let me get out. And the problem is that because we had a rocket in the morning and everything shut down, right? A few places are open in the mall, and I wanted to just go and get out, you know, to get some fresh air alone, right? But I was feeling guilty to leave Raspberry because I was just, like, hoping no rockets come in, because I don't want her to be scared, because she's a little baby. And so I went for a short time. I went for like 40 minutes. I went to the mall. I sat there. I had something to eat, and I bought a few animal food, and I bought, what else did I buy? I forget what I bought. And what else did I buy? I forget what I bought. And, you know, and so then I came back. Thank God there was no alarm. Usually, I guess it depends on the day, right? I can't say, oh, usually there's no sirens in the day, because there was a day or two ago. There was a siren in the middle of the day, right? And 3 in the afternoon. It's like, what the heck, you know what I'm saying? And then there's like a shit show in the sky. So where was I, right? So I understand where the Israelis come from, why they're so angry, and why they're always a little bit rude and aggressive and abrupt and pushy. Because if you live here for a while, for long enough, you'll understand why people are that way, right? And it doesn't always feel better that you understand, but if you're part of the society, you know, and you develop a support system, it's not as unbearable to live here as if you come here alone, right? So anybody that wants to come to Israel, I don't suggest you come alone. You should come with a support system, right? I learned that the hard way, but of course everybody has their journey. So back to, I digress again, right? I digress means like I go off topic. Not exactly off topic, but it is, whatever. So Ichilov Medical Center in Tel Aviv said there were 2 children among the 5 people who arrived at its emergency room with minor injuries. The injuries were largely the 2 impact sites in Tel Aviv and its Nes Ziona suburb. According to medical officials, 1 man was moderately hurt by shrapnel on the route 431 highway near Be'er Yaakov in central Israel. The Iranian attack came hours after the United States bombed 3 key nuclear sites in Iran, joining an Israeli air campaign against Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure that began on June 13. So here's Israeli security and rescue forces at the scene, where a ballistic missile fired from Iran hit and causing damage in Tel Aviv, right? Look at this poor doggy they have to rescue. We have nice neighbors, you know? Like, our neighbors are so nice. They love to kill us, right? So Iran has responded to the Israeli attacks with near-daily barrages of missiles at cities, killing 24 people and wounding thousands, according to health officials, and hospitals. At least 27 missiles were launched from Iran in Sunday's morning attack in 2 salvos, the military said, sending off sirens in north and central regions, as well as Jerusalem, between 7:30 and around 8 a.m. The first salvo consisted of at least 22 missiles, and the second was made up of to 5, according to IDF assessments. Yeah, so 7:30 and around 8 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, so the first, it was 22 missiles, and the second was 5 missiles. Firefighters, rescue workers, and military work at the site of a direct missile strike launched from Iran to Tel Aviv on June 22nd, today, 2025. Right? This is horrific. That's a lot of damage. Wow. But it's a miracle. You see how much the damage is, and it's a miracle that nobody died yet. Right? Shortly after the barrage, the IDF said it struck the missile launchers used in the attack. The military added that before the attack, the Air Force bombed 8 other ballistic missile launchers, including 6 that were primed for an immediate attack on Israel, foiling a larger barrage. According to the IDF, the strikes on the primed ballistic missile launchers eliminated several Iranian soldiers at the launch sites. The IDF released footage of the strikes. Right? I mean, I don't know how much you can see there, but whatever. Here. Boom. So they have like these like trucks that they put the missile on, and it looks like it... Oh, they got rid of it. Very nice. That's how they launched the missiles, the Iranians, right? The Home Front Command said it was investigating whether Iran used a cluster bomb warhead in the attack, as it did last week, but did not initially find evidence that this was the case. In Tel Aviv, skeletons of homes were left standing following the barrage, with the wooden frames visible and amid a sea of debris. What a nightmare. Wow. Look at this. Rescue workers and residents react at the site where an apparently failed air defense interceptor fell in Haifa. Wow. So, like... Right? And so... Yeah, basically... the lady, my work called me, and she's like asking how I'm doing, and I was like, I'm doing good, how are you? And she's not doing so well, the lady I work with, one of the ladies I work with, and I said, I'm so sorry I can't come because they've made restrictions more on the buses to travel anywhere, so there's barely any transportation. And I was like saying my concern to my friends, how like I was a little worried that they would make me go to work and there's no buses. That's my main concern. And she's like, you kidding me? No one's leaving their house now. The Home Front Command, the IDF, they're saying that nobody should leave their houses, they should stay near a bomb shelter. And we're in a time, she's like, you're not going to work, I'm not going to work. She says to me, I'm not going to work, you're not going to work. Nobody's going to work. It's like only essential people are going to work. And like, you know, for supermarkets, for like care homes, that if you work there, or if you're a doctor, that's when you go to work. And she's like, we're at war. She's like, Hanny, we're at war. No one's going to work. She's like, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, oh, okay. I was ready to go. I just wish there was more buses. But apparently, you know what I mean? Like, the people that I worked for also thought I was coming. Today she didn't, but like last week she thought I was coming. And I was like, people that live right near me that, you know, they go to work in this town, they're not even going to work. Right? So, emergency services were still working to evacuate residents over an hour after the barrage. The situation was complicated by the fact that a large elder care facility was damaged in the attack. Ooh, that's bad, right? There was a massive explosion. Everything shook. I don't know what happened. A tearful witness told the Times of Israel at the site. So the person there said there was a massive explosion, everything shook, and he doesn't know what happened. Dave's families walked around carrying small bags with their important possessions as security forces moved them away from the scene, citing concerns of fall debris or building collapse. Houses here were hit very, very badly, Tel Aviv Mayor Ron Huldai said at the scene. Those who are in the shelter are all safe and well. The damage is very, very extensive, but in terms of human life, we're okay. It's a miracle. It's a miracle no one died today. Like, really, it's a miracle. We live off of miracles. People don't understand how bad this is. Israel, like, look at the damage, right? Israeli security and rescue forces at the scene, where a ballistic missile fired from Iran hit and caused damage in Nes Ziona. That's a picture of that. Hulday said that a building badly damaged by the impact was empty of residents, as it was in the midst of refurbishment project. The entire front of the broad fourth-story building appeared to have been blown off. Iran, whose home was hit in Nes Ziona, told Channel 13 that together with his family, he had retreated to their home's safe room. We heard a boom and the whole house shook, but the safe room remained intact, he said. Iran noted that the family dog was injured in the attack and taken to a veterinarian hospital for treatment. Iran's armed forces later said they targeted multiple sites in Israel, including Ben Gurion Airport, after the U.S. attacked key nuclear sites in the Islamic Republic. The airport near Tel Aviv is the main international air gateway to the country. The 20th wave of Operation Honest Promise 3 began using a combination of long-range, liquid, and solid fuel missiles with devastating warhead power, the Iranian armed forces said in a statement quoted by Fars news agency. The targets included the airport, a biological research center, logistics bases, and various layers of command and control centers, it said. Right, sure. They don't even care where they're shooting. They're just sending anywhere at this point, right? Failed interception explosion in Haifa. So the IDF Home Front Command said it suspected that an Israeli Israeli air defense interceptor malfunctioned and crashed in Haifa during the Iranian attack, which was the reasons for the warning sirens not sounding. Also, like, every interception, it costs millions of dollars, right? Like, every single rocket that comes in from Iran, right? And every single time the Iron Dome goes and intercepts the rocket, we have to send our own rocket to intercept the incoming rocket. And including using the machine and the rockets, it costs, like, thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, at least 100,000 or something, right? The IDF Home Front Command said it suspected that an Israeli air defense interceptor malfunctioned and crashed in Haifa during the Iranian attack, which was the reason for the warning sirens not sounding. An early warning was issued via the cell broadcast system in Haifa. So it's very important, even if you don't get a siren in your town, if you get on the phone, you're supposed to go, right? Because you can't fully trust the sirens because it can malfunction, right? An early warning was issued via the self-broadcast system in Haifa, but no siren sounded, as no ballistic missiles were headed for the city. The Home Front Command said, "This is not a malfunction in the warning system," the IDF said, adding that the incident was under investigation. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. The damage is crazy. A public square in a residential area of the city was left strewn with rubble, and surrounding shops and homes were heavily damaged. Palm trees withstood the impact in a small public garden, while storefronts were bent. Shops' windows shattered and air conditioners left dangling from building facades. The impact wounded 3 people who were in good condition, according to medics, and caused some damage. Drone attacks. In addition to the missiles, 2 drones, apparently launched from Iran at Israel, were shot down by the Israeli Air Force during the morning. The IDF said the drones had triggered sirens in the southern Arava region. Drones take several hours to reach Israel from Iran, meaning they were likely launched before the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear sites. Right, so, like, wow, it's crazy, because, like, it takes a long time, because Iran is farther to us than other countries, right? But it's still in this region. And somehow, I wonder why Israel doesn't see it outside of our borders. Why only when it comes within our borders? I don't understand, right? Perhaps it's, I don't know why, right? Overnight, the Israeli Air Force and Navy intercepted some 30 drones launched from Iran at Israel, the military said. So overnight, this was last night. Well, no siren was at 2 or 3 in the morning, I don't think. It was last night. I don't remember anymore. The military said that the Israeli Air Force also struck dozens of drones in Iran before they were launched at Israel. The IDF released footage showing the drone interceptions and strikes on drones in Iran. So here's the... I'm taking it out, right? It's very nice. Military power is very nice. Right? When you have bad guys that are trying to kill you and you can just defend yourself. It's a beautiful thing, right? Wow. And so, since the start of the war with Iran, over 500 drones launched at Israel have been shot down, according to the IDF. IDF hits Iranian jets, weapons, sites, air defense. Israel kept up its air campaign against Iran's military overnight and Sunday, with the Air Force bombing 2 Iranian F-fighters jets at Dezville Airport in Iran during the morning, the military said. The F-5 is a U.S. fighter jet produced by the Northrop Corporation. They were sold to Iran in the 1970s. The military said that the strikes Saturday night, carried out by 20 fighter jets in central Israel, hit dozens of military targets. The targets included a military site containing components for the production of explosives, sites for the storage and production of weapons, and Iranian air defense systems along the military infrastructure at Isfahan airport to prevent the Iranian Air Force from using the site military facilities, IDF said. So this is a video issued by the IDF on June 22 today. It shows strikes on Iranian F-5 fighter jets and ballistic missile launchers and other military facilities in Iran. So Israel goes and bombs everything. Very nice. It's so beautiful. Right? Yeah, so John P. Seeker sends me a message that they lost, he's from Iran, and he lost the internet. They shut the internet down, the IRGC, right? The Iranian regime shut the internet down so the people can't have any way to ask for help from anyone outside of Iran, right? So I'll read you what he writes here. Is it repeating? Is it repetitive? I just will take it out. It's very nice. Don't forget, Iran's a very large country. It's not like Israel. Israel is a tiny sliver of land. That's why when the explosions come into Israel, everybody hears it, regardless of whether you're in Tel Aviv or in Eilat, right? Israel says its sweeping assault, which began last Friday on Iran's top military leaders, nuclear scientists, uranium enrichment sites, and ballistic missile program, is necessary to prevent the Islamic Republic from realizing its avowed plan to destroy the Jewish state. Iran has retaliated by launching over 500 ballistic missiles and around 1,000 drones at Israel. Most of the missiles and nearly all of the drones have been intercepted by air defense systems, right? So now I'm going to read the guy that comes on my channel. His name is... the guy that comes on my channel... right, let me show you here. His name is John P. Seeker. He's living in Iran, and the internet... every sound is like... every sound... Right, so he says that, "Hello, my dear. We lost the internet for many days, but I found a way to connect to you, and my people right now are in distress. They want to get rid of the Iranian regime as fast as possible. So hopefully, with God's help, right, we can liberate you, just like you once liberated us." Right? And so, that's that, my friends. With that, down with the Iranian regime, and down with all our enemies, and woe to the destroyers of Israel. Woe. Oh, about some comments. He says, "Also know that once the regime went to hell, rest assured that the whole world will be safe and secure, 100% guaranteed." That's what John P. Seeker says. Right? That's what he says. "Also know that once this regime went to hell, rest assured that the whole world will be safe and secure, 100% guaranteed." Yeah, they were the state sponsor of terror, right? I think your emails on my next video at the end. Right, so yeah, my friends, stay safe wherever you are, right? Down with the Jew haters. Right, and God wish us all luck. Let's hope we come out of this in one piece. And woe to the destroyers of Israel, right? And I hope to God that I hope that, on the one hand, I'm not sure I want to live forever, but on the other hand, I'm like, I just wish I can be alive at the time when I see the Holy Temple being rebuilt, right? That'd be a very beautiful thing. And so, with that, my friends, let us all hope and pray that the Messiah, the true Messiah, shall come for all of humanity. And of course we know it's not Jesus, because Jesus was a bastard and his mom was a hoe, and that's something you must remember. And if he existed at all, and if it's just a Roman invention, the Christianity is a Roman invention to control the masses and to squash and get rid of Judaism. Until this day, Judaism is the biggest threat to Christianity, and that's why they're aggressively trying to proselytize Jews, which they are having some success, unfortunately. And I think it's evil and it's sick, and I think it should be criminalized in Israel to proselytize another religion besides for Judaism. Only Judaism should be allowed to proselytize here, and Christians, if they proselytize here, they should be it should be criminalized, right? They should get a penalty or get kicked out of here because of our history with Christianity altogether, right? So anyway, I don't mean to end on a negative note, but that is something that's really, it's disgusting, you know. So feel free to subscribe, to subscribe, feel free to like, not to like, and feel free to comment, and have a good day, my friends. Bye.